Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Campus Connect, a podcast where you get to know everything about the college life, making the right choices and meeting the right people. So today I have Dhruv and Nandini from Christ University Central Campus joining me here. They are also proud members of our Central chapter. So before further ado, let's start introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Dhruv Agarwal, a third year BBA student from Christ Central Campus. I'm also going to pursue my honors the fourth year from Christ. My extracurriculars include department head for the placement cell, being part of the photography cell. Also, extracurricular activities include festing, international national level B-Plan fests.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Nandini Prakash. I'm pursuing my BBA. I'm also a third year and I'm specializing in business analytics. And I'm also going to be taking up the honors. So we're the first set of honor students.
So you guys are the experiment batch.
Yeah, we are the experiment batch.
Exactly.
I think since the beginning, I think we've always
The
been
COVID batch, and then the batch that missed their exams or wrote their only pre-boards and then got passed. So yes, we have always been the NEP and the experimental batch.
Yeah, but then apart from academics, when it comes to my extracurriculars, I was a peer educator at Christ University, and now I head the media networking and communication for a business analytic clubs in our department.
Okay, so you both guys seem to be involved in too many different things. So I just want to know, so for the viewers who are also watching, I just want you guys to shed some light on how do you get into so many clubs and societies in the first place, and then becoming having important positions.
So initially, for the first year, a lot of students enrolled in a lot of clubs, and that's what something happened with me as well. I enrolled into 2 clubs, and the fact that I'm no more in both of those clubs, and I'm in different clubs right now. But in second year, being actively involved in these clubs as volunteers, then becoming WCs, OCs, and then finally taking the responsibility positions because the teachers trust you in last 1 year, and then taking up these positions.
I think in first year, we were all overwhelmed and everyone is coming up to you and saying, join this club. It's going to be a great experience. So I think one thing as college students, especially being in the first year, I feel is to, sit back and choose which club you'd actually fit into and not just randomly just apply to all of them just because your friends are doing it or just because it's easy to
Do
do.
that.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you a very existential question. Okay? Why are you guys in Christ? Keeping the jokes aside, what made you make that?
Right. So I've been living in Bangalore for quite some while, and most of my relatives who are in Bangalore, their kids are elder to me. So their children always studied in Christ. So my parents always had a wish that I study in such an institution which has quite some name. And I also wanted to complete my bachelor from Christ. And I applied only for 2 institutions, Christ and CMS. And on the first go, I got into 4 courses in Christ. So that was my first choice, and I was stress free after that.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so for me, I've done most of my schooling in Bangalore, but then for 11th and 12th, I shifted to Dubai. And it was always in the back of my head that I want to come back to Bangalore for my college life because I wanted to experience it back home because Bangalore is home. And I applied to a lot of universities here. I applied to MCC, applied to Joseph's, but Christ was one of the first college that got back. So, and then my parents were more than happy that I got into Christ. And I mean, it was a no-brainer for me because given Christ's name and their brand value, I think it was a pretty easy decision.
Okay. So you shifted from Dubai to Bangalore, right?
Yeah.
And how was that challenging for you?
I mean, definitely. I think even though I've stayed there for 2 years, I think moving to a new place, because this time it's new for me because I'm not moving with my family.
Yeah.
It's only me, right? And it's never easy. I'll be very honest. It's never easy, right? Because it's a new place that you're starting a new life here with new set of people. It's a new ecosystem altogether. I mean, I can go on and on talking about how the hostel life is, but I mean, it was definitely a drastic change, but then I mean, it depends on how you adapt to the situation you're put into. And I feel the friends that you make, the connections that you make in college and outside college, I think they help make it easier for you.
Very good.
Okay. So what would be your, let's say, suggestion to maybe someone who's changing their cities for their college, right? Would you suggest them to join hostel or take up an apartment or PG outside? what would your
Okay,
suggestion?
I've been very honest. I know a lot of people have very different opinions about how the hostel food is and how it's not hygienic. But then the friends that you make in hostel, and when you know there is another person that's going through the same thing that you're going through, they've also come in from another state or from another country. So I feel when you have more people who are going through the same thing, I feel that just makes your life easier. So I would definitely recommend people to join hostels because I mean it's safer when you're with a lot more people who are from the same who are going through the same thing as you.
So, okay, Dhruv, on your part, you definitely are someone who stays here with your family, but I think you might have seen a lot of your friends. So, what would you say about this?
Right. So a lot of my friends are from outside Bangalore, and one thing that I've noticed that people who have taken apartment in the first year have not had the same set of responsibilities, and the friends I've seen who have lived in hostel and then switched to an apartment have been much more responsible. So I would suggest that taking hostel in the first year is the right choice, and then switching to an apartment because an apartment has a lot of responsibilities.
But I mean, like once you're in your second year and your third year, you already have so much work in college, and
Yeah.
you're not going to come back and do your laundry and then do your like food and then clean the house. So I
So
mean,
I
in that
guess
sense,
as long as you can maybe afford someone else to do it. So.
yes.
Absolutely.
If you can, then well
Absolutely.
and good.
But yeah, again from my perspective, I would say that definitely hostel or a PG is the place to go in your first year. That is where you can meet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is
Exactly.
That is where you make friends.
Yeah.
You both are in Christ. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the
Absolutely.
attendance criteria.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do you guys manage? How do you become?
I mean, there are two aspects of it, right? One is being an obedient student and having 99% attendance, attending every single class. And Christ does have a very strict policy of having 85% and 75% minimum for sitting for exams and all. But keeping that in mind, there are a lot of students who are very obedient types who have 99% and have attended every single class. But there are again students who have approximately 50-60% as well because they are not able to meet the timings also because Christ has a very strict timing as well, 9:45 to 3:45 with 1 hour of break, right? So people tend to go back to their PG in the break and tend to come back late, due to which they miss 1 or 2 classes on a daily basis. So attendance plays a very major role in Christ in order to stay in the college.
And to be able to write your midterm
Exactly.
or your exam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, for someone who's staying in a PG, all your classes after lunch, you have to really think if you want to go or not.
Exactly.
So, like a hack to keep your attendance is to attend the first half because it's from 9:45 to 12:45. You attend that, and then I mean, but actually, if you think about it, most of everyone, at least in our class, they're always doing some or the other thing in Christ for which they get claims. There are events going on. There are always some fests.
Right.
So they end up coming to the
So-
college, right?
If I were to ask you to, what is your attendance right now on your portal? What
Well,
would that be?
Well, with claims it's 99%, but without claims it's definitely below 75.
Mine right now is at 90.2.
That's
Yeah. Clearly, I don't
Obedient
have.
student.
Clearly, I don't have
I
anything
guess we
apart
have a
from
student
attending
here.
classes.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you guys both ended up in Christ. Do you guys wish that it could have been something different? I mean,
Well-
obviously everyone wishes the Ivy League, Harvard, MIT, everyone was there, but maybe something that was more feasible or something, or another alternate that you would have considered when it came to Christ.
Well, I really wanted to do my studies abroad initially from my bachelor's itself, but again, family is a very big aspect for me. I wanted to stay connected to my family because after the age of 21, a person tends to become more busy in their office life or business life. So staying with family until the age of 21 was very essential and important. That's why I took up Christ. Otherwise, I wanted to do my bachelor's in the US, obviously Ivy Leagues, but an exposure of outside India is an exposure. So that was my wish.
Okay, Christ as a university has its oh my god brand value, oh my god great reputation, and that is why they have the number of students that it has. And I mean that is also one of the reasons why people come to Christ because their placements are also top notch. But I feel one thing that they can work on is maybe to have a more better system when it comes to giving us a proper course structure when it not for the existing course, but because now very experimental batches for
Okay.
honors. If they had,
So
you
they
know,
have left a lot of things in the dark.
like right. So now, for instance, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in my 7th or 8th semester. I don't know the subjects that I'm going to be dealing with, right? Because I feel that would be essential for us to plan out.
Yeah, so again, I would say that during the new education policy, this added fourth year was done because usually the 3 year courses lack enough credit so that Indian students had difficulty
Yeah.
going abroad. But again, another way of covering up those credits was through work experience. So
Exactly.
what right now you guys have made up your mind to do the fourth year, but
Absolutely.
what would you say is better right now? What would you have considered working instead of taking the fourth year?
So again, there are two options for this. Either doing a 2 year work experience for the masters in the US, or the honors program was very interesting because it had 6 months of internship and 6 months of super specialization in class. So technically, it's only a 6 months of honors, and you have an additional 1 year course certificate. So the course was very nice, but obviously, work experience is also very essential because you're earning as well as learning simultaneously.
Yeah.
So that 2 years also matters. But yeah, both actually have a good balance of pros and cons.
I mean, he summed it up pretty well. But I think personally for me, I'm not ready to work after like 3 years. Like, no way I am sitting and doing a 9 to 5 job and saying, okay, let's do the same thing tomorrow. So I feel like honors is in a way good. Like, it's like
I guess you're
another
more
extra
comfortable
year.
in a 9 to 4.
I mean, no, we don't have full 9 to 4 also.
Yeah.
We end up coming like a little earlier.
Yeah.
Than that. Yeah. But I mean, I think that one extra year, as he said, gives us the time to.
Okay. So this is something I really wanted to ask. Okay, so we online know that there's kind of a rivalry between Christ and St. Joseph's College. So what is your opinion on SGCC students?
I mean, I've been in Bangalore my entire life, so I am the one who has actually witnessed it as well. I've been to different institutions of St. Joseph. There's SGBHS, there's HGCC, HGU. So the main rivalry is between the competitions that we do, festing. And that plays a very major role in the college life because festing teaches you a lot of things, confidence, exposure, and a lot of learnings. And in that, Christ and HGCC have always had that first or second position.
Yeah.
Sometimes Christ having the first position, sometimes HGCC. So that rivalry it's always about the competition, who wins and who gets the more trophies and the more cash prize.
I mean, it's like never ending. You know, they
It's
have some or
never
the
ending.
other thing against one another, especially when it comes to festing. Because when we have a business fest, like the rigor is like, oh my god.
So I think, but that kind of professional rivalry has also translated into just students dissing or disliking or
yes.
having a inferior opinion. For the most interesting thing about this is whenever I talk to, let's say, somebody from SJC, from St. Joseph's, they say the same things about the Christ student. Like, oh, that is what, like, this is they do, that is why they're not good. And the same things are going to be said by a Christ person for a SJC. So I think this is kind of like between football clubs.
Oh
So
my god.
I mean, these rivalries have sometimes come on the road as well. There are newses. I mean, you guys must have seen on Instagram.
We are not promoting anything.
We don't promote it. Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
that's
all
always
they
been
talk
there.
about. I mean, I think the whole point is only about the competition.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's anything.
And the
apart
fact
from
that these two institutions have been very old, they have been over 50, 60 years. So that rivalry has been there from last 25 years. That just continues.
It's just like a legacy.
That's like a
It's
legacy.
kind of like, so for me, I'm coming from Delhi University, so for me a similar example would be Hindu and St. Stephen's.
Exactly,
Ah.
So
absolutely.
I mean that is a age-old rivalry continuing for 100 years right now. So that would put it better. So, but I want to know, like, what does an average day look out for you? Like, when colleges are going on and you have the full schedule, like, what's your day-to-day routine?
Okay, so I think for us, like we have classes from 9:45 on some days, and on some days we have it at 7:30 in the morning. So for you to be able to wake up at 7:30 and show up to a data management class for 2 hours with no break and no food in your stomach, all you're thinking
That
about
too
is
after
coffee.
partying till 4 a.m.
Sometimes.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, yeah, so we have classes until 9, and then we have a break for breakfast 9 till 9:45, and then we have our common classes until 12:45.
And how is Christ when it comes to the extracurricular activities?
I mean, one thing that I have to mention about Christ is the opportunities that it gives in terms of extracurricular, co-curricular, and other various other opportunities. Because every day is a new day for Christ. Because every day a new event is just happening across any department. Like today, also, if you go there, being on a Saturday, there were 4 events happening at Christ. Different SGG, Cell, Daisy, this, that. So Christ has always given opportunities, especially when it comes to festing. Christ promotes it a lot because Christ also gets a name. If you win Christ always have an upper hand on that.
Yeah.
So it promotes
But
extracurriculars.
although it is interesting because the general perception of Christ outside is that it's a very academically driven college wherein academic takes the front seat and everything else is in the back
I mean, I think they do have a balance, Like,
Very
I mean, even
perfect
when it
balance.
comes to our fest, even if you're not part of it, I think as participants, as audiences, you do get to see and learn a lot. So even if you're not part of it, there's a lot of learning that Christ gives us that atmosphere to, see different people from different industries come and talk to us.
Right. So that balance has always been created. And
Yeah.
and if you would have seen a festing team, there's always that balance that a scholar is also there, a average student is also there, and a student who is fabulous at festing is also there. So there's always that balance and a mix of students.
Okay. So also, I think they also do play a part in the opportunities that you have. So, do you think that having experience working in clubs, committees, or organizing fests would it help a student in further in life, like strengthening their CV, things like that?
Right. So being part of a placement cell, I've been come across this question, and being talking to HRs, this question is very frequent in students. Well, these clubs help you in your personal development, personal skills, getting new skills added for sure. It does add some kind of value to your CV because then they know that you had some kind of responsibility in your department or in any of the clubs, and that plays a major role because you are, as a student, you do not have any corporate experience when you're sitting for placements, and these clubs only play as an experience to show the company. So yes,
Because at
they
the
do
end
play a
of the
role.
day, I think it is a position of leadership, right? And it's given to you because they see caliber. They see that you are eligible or you can work under pressure. You tend to make better decisions under pressure.
Okay. So yeah, enough with the serious talk. So let's move on to the fun segment wherein
Okay.
I ask you just. So first of all, before that, I have been speaking for way too long. Now I want you guys to share maybe a funny story, a fun anecdote that happened to you guys in college. Something, anything that you are comfortable sharing.
There are multiple stories. I mean, being a college student and especially in third year, some of the stories uh, can be. There was one fun story in our first year at Christ. There was a student who is very notorious, but same time he's also smart in terms of academics and very good at festing as well. But what he did is he wanted to do something extraordinary. He goes to the boys' washroom. He takes a Diwali cracker and he puts it. And being such a prestigious college and having such a brand value, that student was suspended for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes. But that thing, how it impacted, we all had class going on at that time. And then there was like a bomb sound. Boom. And we were like, is there an earthquake or something?
Like,
Or
what is going on here?
or is there any DG blast or something? Are we safe or not? And then this whole issue came and that student was then suspended. So this is one of the funny stories that keep happening.
I mean, I would say I'm
Hello,
guilty.
keep happening to what happened once.
I would say I am guilty as charged doing this back in my school days.
Wow.
Definitely burst a lot of crackers in school.
So we do have a mentor here.
Guilty as charged. So, but yeah, anything that you would want to share?
Not a funny story, but I think this is one story that I would like to share. It's about my first day at Christ and the first person that I met in Christ. So this is actually, we had our orientation, all of it was over, and they all told it, and everyone is just running to their classes. Me being me, didn't check the mail, and I didn't know where my classroom was. So I just went and I stood in front of a class, and then I met this person, and then I asked them whether, this is our class. I just assumed that she'd be in the same class as me. And she was the first person that I met in Christ. And she's the first friend that I made, because I think it takes a lot for me to be able to make new friends at a new place because you don't know what the other person is thinking. And it's the first date. And I mean, till date, we're really, really good friends. And
Okay.
yeah, so
I'm
it's a
so
beautiful
glad
story.
that that worked out
Yeah,
for you,
yeah.
definitely. But for a lot of people, it does not, because
Yeah.
we hear a lot of stories that your first year group doesn't last.
Yeah.
And all of that. So, have you had any similar experience wherein you might have some lost friendships over the years?
Yeah, for sure. So this is not a myth. This actually happens in college. Some people assume like the first years who came in, they've been bonding over groups and they're like, "Ye hamari sachi dosti forever" types and all. But the reality is that initially when you come to college, it's a very new experience and you are very overwhelmed to make new friends. So you tend to enter every group you can and you make a large group of 15 people and you guys go out for the first 3 to 6 months. You guys go to restaurants, cafes, you party. But then slowly what happens is not all 15 can be synchronized or
And
cannot be
it's just the Three Musketeers.
exactly. It's exactly by the third year it's either Three Musketeers or I think it's only the duo who's left, like the two best friends. But this is what happens. Like the first year it's 15 people, then second year it turns out only to be 5, 6, and then the last year it's only 2, 3. So this does happen and it's a part of the college.
Yeah, I mean, but touchwood, I've not had that experience. But I mean, I think it's very important in the first year to get to know everyone from your class
Very true.
before you know say that this is my set of people, because I feel especially in first year there are like a few people that I know who try so much to fit into their friend group, right, rather than just going away from that friend group and finding people you genuinely connect with on a one-to-one
Know so
level.
many people like that.
I mean, obviously, that is part and parcel of fitting into the college life, and people definitely have to go through this.
Yeah.
And but again, it's very interesting for me, like how you students interact, But let's come to the fun part of it, like what's the dating scene? We hear a lot of wild things about it, to say the very least.
So
Right.
this is a very fun fact about Christ. So there's a place in Christ near the central block which has red benches, but throughout the year it's named like the Love Park because the red benches and it's at a place where not many classes happen. People have actually named it the Love Park or the Love Benches because 90% of the time you just see a guy and a girl sitting there or couple sitting there and chit chatting. And I mean, Christ does not promote it in campus any types of scenes, but we do see a lot of couples sitting there. So throughout the years, the name thus comes in. But also seeing at Christ, when a guy and girl become friends in the first year, they just tend to fall in that flow, which continues, and then there are a lot of hurdles on the way, I would
See,
say.
but I think when, at least in whatever I've seen, like all the relationships, I think both of them are very career oriented. Like they know what they want to do because when you're in a university like Christ, there is already so much pressure. There's so many expectations from you, right? So to have that balance in terms of being able to spend time with your girlfriend or boyfriend and also be able to meet your CIA guidelines and your deadlines and your attendance, right?
Yeah, so again, lot of pressure. But
Yeah.
again, yeah, so that is there. But what would be your advice to someone who wants to raise up someone in Christ, guy or a girl? What would work for them?
See, one thing I've seen at Christ is that a guy and girl meet today, and the third day they just start dating, like out of nowhere.
Okay, this is not a very. This is not,
very
you can't
true.
generalize, but
No, but yeah, it's not for everyone, but seen a lot of cases like this in the last 3 years. But one advice I would like to give is that know each other very well before getting into such a commitment because end of the day, if you guys are breaking up, it does hurt either of them, right?
I think commitment is a very nice.
yeah,
Very
it's
big
like you're
commitment.
committed to getting a job first before you look at
Oh yeah,
committing to
commitment
someone
issues
else.
are there at some students at Christ.
Yeah, I think advice as such would be to definitely get to know the person on a one-to-one level, and you need to know what kind of jobs they're applying to because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that that guy or girl has enough time to spend with you as
Yeah.
well.
So speaking on the topic of jobs, so what are usually what companies are the ones that are showing up to placements and
I mean,
Yeah, this
yeah,
question
what
is
are the
directed
you are the placements
Yes.
right?
So Christ offers a lot of opportunities in terms of placements. So Christ has this pattern where placements for the third year starts from the second month itself, like July. Like the academic year starts from June, and from July itself the companies start coming, and all the top MNCs come to take the cream layer, I would say. Uh, if mentioning companies like D Shaw, Goldman Sachs, and big companies like Bain and all come initially itself because they want to take up good students,
Best of the best.
the best of the best,
and they come
and
first. Yeah.
and they give very high packages, like something that a BBA graduate does not expect, right?
Like, yeah. It'll
Uh,
be more than enough for you to pay your
yeah,
rent in
yeah.
Bangalore.
I mean that package is enough for some engineering students who actually work for at least 5 years.
I would say at the very least you'll be able to cover your rent.
Absolutely, in Bangalore especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing. And then throughout the year, companies keep coming on a daily basis. So you always have a chance of getting placed, but it's again on your expectations that you want a minimal salary paying job, or you want a little higher paying, or you want the highest paying.
I guess आजकल तो लोगों को जितना दे दो
इतना चलेगा बस
At this
job
point,
से।
exactly, jobs मिल ही नहीं रहे. The job market is the same because of the current scenarios. But yeah.
So again, but yeah, Christ student does
Absolutely.
fare well placement wise and
They do,
employment wise. So that is it. But again, even though, so I'll give you a hypothetical. Okay, so you have like a decent paying job in Bangalore versus a high paying job in Delhi. What would you choose?
Decent paying job in Bangalore. Sorry, I'm
mean-
not going to give up this weather and the food here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Bangalore is very good at weather, but because staying in Bangalore for such a long time, I would actually choose Delhi for the exposure, for the different.
It's okay. You
Lifestyle.
can just say you're getting paid more there. It's fine. You
No,
don't
but-
have to be this diplomatic.
But
It's
the thing
okay.
is, the food in Delhi is
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, coming to food wise, I would disagree. Food,
yeah.
Delhi food
Delhi
is better.
is very good. Like the chole
It's
bhature.
like two Delhiites ganging up.
No, I mean, I'd say like, see, because for Bangalore, something that I noticed is not a very huge street food culture here as much as it is there in Delhi. I mean,
As
there-
much as, yeah, maybe not.
So again, and the variety there is that everything you want, you can have that. So,
Fair enough.
but again, the
But-
weather, the pollution, everything else. I
Keeping
mean,
in mind.
And
You
the
have to cons-
traffic, you all forgot traffic. Hello.
traffic for Bangalore or for Delhi?
I mean,
At this
it is
point, it's
actually-
debatable. It's
Yeah,
I mean, I would.
it's worse both.
I would say Delhi has better traffic than.
Oh, yeah,
because
it's-
it has,
In Delhi, there
it
are
has the-
jams.
no, it
Here,
has the
even
better.
signal-
I mean, obviously, it has a better metro system. So where.
Oh yeah.
where
And I think I would. This might be a little controversial, but I think the traffic at Delhi is a little well managed than Bangalore.
I mean, the roads are better.
yeah, the roads are
roads are
better. The roads are better. That's what I would say.
Fine. Okay.
No. I mean, obviously, I love Bangalore as a city. That is
Absolutely.
why I choose to stay here. And the weather is also pretty amazing, and the people are the best.
Yes.
So that is what keeps me here in Bangalore. But yeah, anyways, obviously, there are distinctions that can be made, observations that can be made. So we try to do that, make it fun, have some conversation there.
Fair enough.
So that is there. But again, Bangalore as a city does offer, a lot of exposure in terms of startups that are there. In
Yeah,
terms
it's like
of
the startup hub, right?
yeah. So have you guys had a chance of exploring startups other than Campus Binge, obviously, in
Do you want to
Bangalore?
talk about two guys?
So I mean, I have been part of multiple startups from a very young age. I mean, this would be very shocking, but I joined LinkedIn at the age of 15
As a user, or
as a user.
Good
I
one.
wish.
Good one.
But I joined as a user, and I've been associated to different. Initially, I was at student-led startups where student managed small level startups, awareness-based startups. But once I came to Christ from the first year onwards, I joined multiple startups ranging from sales, marketing, operations. So I've explored a lot of startup, and it's a great opportunity. And a fun fact about the whole startup in terms of Bangalore, there's an area called HSR that has over 13,000 companies registered. So people call it the offline LinkedIn of Bangalore.
Yeah.
it is. Definitely. I used to stay in HSR, but then the rent started getting very
Very
expensive.
good. Fair enough.
So but this definitely, I agree with the startup whole point of, and I believe that maybe that somewhere you should gain that it is a very good experience to gain, when you're working in a startup, because you get to know things. Because see, the main distinction between working in a corporate and a startup is that a corporate, your work is very well defined. You
That
have
is
to
true.
do this thing, and then you have to submit it by the end of the
Yeah.
day. But in a startup, your work will expand because it's a
Exactly.
small team. even the founders and everything, they are also figuring it out. Why?
Like even people who are working in the corporate right now say that if you want to learn
If you want
at
to
the
learn,
ground
absolutely.
level, the base level, it's
I would
best to
I would say
work with a startup.
startups have a lot of growth in terms because obviously everyone's just figuring out everything. So in that way, you tend to not work for one role, but you tend to work for a lot of roles simultaneously.
so what are the startups that are there? Any startups in Christ right now? Coming Christ students building something, anything that
Yes.
you would want to shed some light on?
Yes, so there's one professor also who has built a startup and has
Sanjay sir.
so he's built a startup called Sunbird Stores, which makes straws out of fallen leaves of coconut,
Okay.
and that startup has gained a lot of attraction around the world. Like
Yeah.
UN has made them their official partners and stuff like that. So
yeah.
and they're present in 10 plus countries. But other than that, a lot of students are also on the ideation and the incubation. So Christ has a very fabulous incubation center as well,
Oh yeah, yeah.
a very great one, like a whole. They have made a
Like
whole
end to
setup,
end.
end-to-end solutions, and they have also Christ also has a podcast center and stuff. So Christ has a lot of things, and they do encourage this a lot. They encourage students for startups. They encourage students for writing research papers. They have even a grant on research paper. They give you a specific grant if you're writing a research
I mean,
paper.
I think last year one of our subjects we had entrepreneurship development, and by the end of it, we had to come up with an idea and prepare a report. And they were literally encouraging us, and they told us that the best reports will go to the incubation center, wherein you will be connected to industry mentors.
Professionals and-
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
who would help you in terms of if you
Build
want to make
this,
an app, then a tech guy.
Okay.
So end to end until you launch it into the market. Christ,
And does
the
the
incubation.
does the incubation center also offer funding support?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So, Christ offers funding supports as well as it connects you to different venture capitalists, angel investors in terms of guidance, in terms of funding, and absolutely shows you the right path.
Okay, so considering all of this, have you guys ever wondered or explored this field yourself, that you maybe someday, somewhere down the line, you'd want to start something of your own?
I mean, I honestly, as a student, when we were doing the entrepreneurship program, coincidentally, we were on the same team,
Yeah.
and we tend to have an idea which actually was very feasible and very practical, and the whole faculty liked it, and we were actually honored to be selected for the incubation as well. So that whole process is a little slow because this is department level. Reaching to the incubation level takes a little time because there is a lot of evaluation, there's a lot of thinking. Because incubation is not easy, and incubation
It's a structured program.
it's a structured
obviously.
program, and it
You
takes
also need to be structured with your approach and your ideas. before
Exactly.
you enter it.
and moreover, other than that, extracurriculars, I have been a business plan fester, so I have had my own idea as well, which I have tried to work, and on God's grace, I have received a lot of attraction on that. I have received venture capitalists who have offered me funding, and I have received incubation.
This is like free promotion he's doing. Why
No, but I mean, as you
this
like-
is what I do.
I mean, as you asked, that is what the whole Christ culture teaches you.
Yes.
That you are just not a normal student who wants to be an accountant. It teaches you how to be a manager.
Yes, definitely. Like I
Yeah.
would say, but I would also give, if someone offers you funding, take it.
Absolutely.
Aankh band karke लो.
That is my pro advice after we've been trying
Hmm.
fundraising for a while. Okay, so we've talked about academics, we've talked about startups, we've talked about the dating life as well. But Christ is also known for students partying hard, right? They do love to party. Like all the clubs in Koramangala, you see Christites, hanging
Absolutely.
around there. So
In fact, ethnic day is next week. Next weekend, by the way.
okay, so but what are the top go-to places for Christ?
I mean, see, there are some specific partying labels who have party organized every Friday and Saturday, and mainly they are at places called Magic. There are places called Secret Stories, where
Yeah.
there are a lot of regular parties where we have also been, and there are a lot of famous DJs who come in, probably Tej and all, and pretty crazy scenes
I
happen.
mean, Sunburn also
Right.
organizes these parties. In
I mean, obviously
places.
there's something already else going on.
Like you walk the street of Koramangala, that street, and
But
you can just
yeah,
hop
the
on
club
20.
lane in Koramangala is that. But मैं जो पूछना चाह रहा था, अड्डा क्या है Christ Church का?
Yeah.
I would say Avon.
Oh yeah, Avon. Everyone just
Yeah, that is
ends
what I
up
want
going
to
there.
do.
Avon.
Avon is Adda.
Like
and,
they-
and Malabar is the other Adda for other things.
So yeah, definitely Avon is one.
Avon is like
place.
a go-to place. Like you don't even have to think
Think.
twice. It's either there or they go to
Yeah.
Bob's.
Anytime you go to Avon, you would see some
It
Christ
is
students.
Yeah,
actually
you will see.
actually Avon is actually run by Christites. I mean,
Oh.
the other general public comes in, it's very rare. It's 95% occupancy is Christites.
Okay, so I mean, that's the main business.
Yeah.
It's like a
component.
go-to place. Yeah.
Okay. But okay, so in general, what like obviously it would vary a lot person to person, but in general, do Christites love going out clubbing more, or do they love like house parties more?
I think the later because I mean, but there are again two
set of people.
sides of the same coin.
So I mean, and in this also it's distributed honestly because as
Yeah.
first year students they tend to go to every party every Saturday Sunday. Like
yeah, because
they
they're like
just-
first year,
yeah,
the
they just
enthusiasm, the
they just like
excitement.
हमें party करनी है हर club में.
Enthu cutlet.
And-
हाँ. And then after first year when they've gone to all these party places, then they realize that party से हो गया अभी house party करते
House
हैं.
party. Right?
And then that house party starts.
I
in
think
the
it's
second
it's probably the same for most students. Wherein even I have experienced this, wherein I was more more open to going out clubbing and all when I was in my first year. But then second year, third year, it's I just wanted the people I know and the people I vibe with. I just
Exactly,
wanted
yeah.
them in a place and then party.
Actually, that happens with us also now. We don't. I think it's been a while we've gone to partying to a
Same,
club.
like,
We
Yeah,
tend
unless
to-
and until if I am the one organizing,
Yeah, I would not take the hassle to get ready and book the auto by the time the auto comes and goes
Exactly.
and comes back.
Because
Yeah.
house parties also comfort. Your friends come over. You guys are just chit chatting. There's a good music. Your taste music because clubbing is very
Yeah.
generalized.
I mean, obviously you have to have commercial music
Exactly.
for everyone
That's
to
true.
dance.
Yeah.
Clubbing can be fun. It has been fun
Absolutely.
for me as well.
Absolutely.
But it's just that I have like that charm for me has gone over the years. So
Yeah.
now you just, I mean, I don't do it anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, partying. But one thing, I have noticed this with every Christ, right? And because I have been working with Christ students for a very long time.
Mm.
So is that I think one thing that Christ teaches you is to how to party till 4 a.m. and still reach on time for the first
It's again the attendance that matters because
Like at the end of the day, like you just get a flashback of like your teacher's face.
yeah and it's
no, the
again
security guard. It gets as worse to him, us fighting with him to like open the door for us.
absolutely.
Oh my
I mean,
God, it's
in
insane.
Christ, it's the teachers and it's then the
Guards.
security guards.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
considered the god.
Yeah.
And at some points, even teachers tell that they are the Bhagwan and we are under them because they have the authority. And I think that's actually needed as well for a student. Securities have the authority to take your ID card if you're doing any type of nuisance. You come late. You are not allowed to enter the campus if you're even 30 seconds late.
I mean, it's as real as it gets. You know,
Yeah.
like after one point, you're like, I have
So
no
these are not
ability to
just
find.
stories.
They're not
These are not just
stories.
stories. Yeah, there are so many times where I've only gone and be like, भैया please जाने दो, please जाने दो, attendance ही नहीं है.
But sometimes they also allow some.
But they do,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure. I mean,
that's only when
A
some
personal
Well,
rapport based.
yeah. you have to
Otherwise
really-
it's very strict that and it's not even that he stops you. He makes you stand for 15 minutes and
Very
then you
smart.
go out, and then you have to go because Christ again has a hack that the attendance portal is open only for the
for
first
the
15
first
minutes.
15 minutes.
So
Yeah.
try to bribe them with something. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't promote it though.
Obviously,
different
obviously, it's
thing,
all
but
fun
yeah.
and jokes
Yeah.
Yes.
for all the Christ authorities.
Yes.
But so again, it's fun. Like obviously, Christ is definitely one of the premier institutions when it comes to not only just in Bangalore or Karnataka, but all over India, right?
Mhm.
And you see, as you have mentioned, that there are students from all walks of life that are here,
Yeah.
and all states that are coming. So, have you did something ever happen that you got to know about a culture for the first time, or some sort of language, or a people, or a way of living through college, through Christ?
Yes, I mean Christ in last 3-4 years it has built a lot of different communities like Korean community, Spanish community, and the fun fact is the teachers are actually from Korea, actually from Spain.
Yeah.
So that actually gets a lot of culture in hand. Not to mention that like the Korean community, they have actually organized Korean festivals, they've organized Korean food, they've conducted workshop on Korean food. So that gets a very important element in knowing that culture. So Christ has thought that, and because Christ has a lot of partnerships across the globe with different
And I think
universities.
it also has a very robust student exchange.
Oh,
Very,
yeah.
very
Yeah.
I mean, Christ has a lot of NRIs, a lot. I mean, not to mention that I think if I'm not wrong, around 20% of the Christ students are NRIs who have come from other countries. They might be Indians, they might
Mostly
right,
from
yeah,
the
yeah,
as well.
but there are a lot of NRIs, and you will see in Christ any other person you see is a foreigner. I mean, you see a lot of people from the US, Europe, a lot of people from South Africa. You see a lot of from
the
Australia,
Gulf as well.
exactly, from the Gulf. So a lot of mixed. That's why you have a lot of exposure. You
It's a
have a
mixed
lot of new
bag,
things. Yeah.
I mean, even when it comes to like portraying a culture of a particular state in India or across the globe, I think during Ethnic Day,
Yeah,
the
that
first
is what I
half,
was the ethnic
yeah,
day,
during
right?
so we have this odd event wherein the like I think it's about I think the first half.
The
of
first
day.
half you get to know different cultures of India.
Yeah, so they literally just come, they talk about their culture, and then they do their dance.
And
So-
they also have to like wear traditional.
Yeah,
dress,
yeah, they have
mostly
to,
traditional
yeah. So
dresses.
it's, I mean, it's very
That is
exciting
something
to
I
see.
really like because
Yeah.
some like obviously being working with so many students, you see them outside as well after every
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
going to a club, partying, right? And then you get to see like so many different types of outfits as well. That I just haven't seen. Because
Yeah.
that comes from a very obscure or a
Native-
very
native,
niche
huh.
culture, very native
Mm,
culture, which people
Some
may
probably
not know
heard of.
outside of that
Yeah.
immediate area.
Yeah.
So again, and definitely, I think, and that is what, for me, that is what the gist of education or a university is, that you get to meet people from different
Different.
cultures, different walks of life,
Yeah.
so that new shit can be made out of it,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
see, let's say somebody sees, let's say, a good ethnic outfit of someone else, and
Hmm.
they are, let's say they are a fashion designing student, so they can get inspired.
So
from
everything
it.
is related, I feel.
Yeah.
And moreover, the best part about Ethnic Days, you get to see 20,000 students together at a place. You know
Right,
that,
so you
that
don't
creates
even
a
have to know
chaos.
the person, but if
Yeah.
you like their outfit,
You
it
just
just sparks a
approach them.
conversation, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another way, like through culture, through
And
like
you have like a crazy DJ.
Oh yeah, Christ
in your-
Christ just spent on Ethnic Day because
I
if
thought he
if
was being sarcastic in the beginning. I was like,
No. I've seen it. I've
no,
seen
so
it.
Christ just spent good amount of money on that because on Ethnic Day that beats or that bass actually feels. The ground is actually shaking that
you
day.
can hear it outside of Christ as well.
yeah.
And another thing is, but maybe I think they should improve the football ground.
Oh yeah.
And now that they've cut it, it's
they've
become
cut,
like
yeah,
half.
they're building a new building in Christ, so
Yeah.
Christ is expanding.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, each year more and more students are wanting to come, so it makes logical sense to expand and serve more people. Definitely, education wise.
Yeah.
So I think we have covered basically almost all the things that we wanted to talk about, and you did shed a lot of light on the internal workings and the inner shenanigans of Christ, right? But yeah, so definitely, thank you so much for it.
Thank you for
actually
inviting us.
Inviting us
No.
to this podcast.
But this definitely, the vision for this podcast is so that students who are yet to make that choice, who are yet to make the move, they can at least know some things that are not talked about on prospectuses or on brochures. Some information that can only be accessed by talking to someone who has lived that experience.
Absolutely.
So this is the vision behind the podcast, and for any student who are yet to make the move or who are in colleges right now, please go to the description below and click the link. Join our community, join the Campus Bench community for internships, events, and we have a lot
of
of things
fun.
planned. Right? We try to do activities together and try to get the best college, try to deliver the best college experience to you. If you want to get featured in the next episode of Campus Connect, wherein we are sharing student stories, please fill out the form in the description below. And if your profile fits, we will reach out to you. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in.